Yo, welcome back to another episode of the Sing Zone podcast. I'm your host, Zone FanFic, and today we have something a little different. It's gonna be the first podcast of the year, so I hope you guys enjoy. This one may be a little shorter, but we'll try to compensate by making next week's a little longer. Just a little something in advance, so you guys are aware. Um, yeah, we're gonna get into it. How about it? Who we starting off with today?
Yes, sir. First topic, we have anime and manga. So, first, I want to say, I hope everyone's New Year was great. I hope you guys didn't get too drunk. I hope you guys are ready for this year. We got a lot of new anime and manga dropping. So, let's start off with Burn the Witch, which actually dropped last year, season 2. Burn the Witch. This is actually a continuation of Taita Kubo's manga series. This takes place in a parallel version of London. And I'm not too much of the story and its connection with Bleach, but I'm not even sure if it's set in the same time period either. How familiar are you guys with Burn the Witch?
Yeah, Burn the
I'm
Witch
not.
is pretty good. It's as far as Burn the Witch, it's basically based off of like the West of the Soul Society, right? So everything there is for the people that aren't aware of
Okay.
the people that aren't aware of like the Bleach universe, there is a whole nother Bleach universe or a continuation of the Bleach universe with Burn the Witch, right? So I'm not gonna give too much spoilers, but I will say it's essentially like, you know how there is a Soul Society, there's Wikomundo, there's Katakuri Town, right? That is essentially there's a west of that, which is sort of like in like Europe, which Japan would consider like the West, and basically a school of magic, right? Which is what um they call like reishi, right? It's essentially like they are going into that side, but with dragons and such, right? Um, just a little tidbit of that. Yeah.
Last question: is it required to watch Bleach before getting into this, or can you just watch this as a standalone?
Honestly, it's a spinoff for a reason, I think. You don't have to understand the mechanics of Bleach to actually understand how the series works. It's like House of the Dragons. You can watch House of the Dragons, understand how, the premise of that, the actual show of how they actually start off and build upon that universe with those set ideals. Now, of course, watching Bleach may give you a better idea as to, like what may be going on, but it's not going to be like things you absolutely must know or must watch. Like you don't need to watch Game of Thrones to watch House of the Dragons. Same principle, right? You don't need to watch Burn the Witch to Bleach to understand Burn the Witch, right? Same.
Nice.
Makes sense. Yeah, I'm not familiar with the series, but I've heard the same things. People told me that you don't really need context going into it. It takes place like in a different location within the same world. So for anybody that's just new to coming into the world of Bleach, it would be a good one to start out with without prior knowledge.
Nice. That's good to know. That's good to know. So moving on from that, our next segment is Jujutsu Kaisen season 3. Now this has been confirmed, but there's no release date yet. And being how the history with season 2 and just with the whole studio Mappa in general with how they treating their animators, we're not gonna expect this probably to like maybe 2025, 2026. That's probably being extremely exaggerating, but we really want to give these animators a break. So, but they're also releasing a movie too, a movie on Toji's backstory. Toji is a character who is Megumi's father. You find out about him in season 2, and that's pretty nice. So we get to see his backstory, how he grew up, and how he turned out to be the way he is. So that's very interesting. I'm looking forward to that. But both have unconfirmed release dates, but they are confirmed. So that's interesting. Very excited for that.
Yeah, and this takes place right after the Shibuya incident arc, right?
Correct. It will be, I believe it's the Cullen Games arc. That's the next arc coming. And this arc is actually very, very long in the manga. So I'm not entirely sure if they're going to be able to cover the whole, entirety of the Cullen Games arc. I'm pretty sure it's probably going to be like split into 3 parts. So we might get like the first part of it. So I'm not going to, reveal any spoilers, but I have an idea of where we might end up stopping. But yeah.
Did you say the coming games?
Cullen Games.
Cullen Games.
Not the coming games?
No.
Cullen.
No.
No.
Messing with it.
But yeah. Next up, we have Avatar. So now we have a third movie that's in the works, expected to be released in 2025, it's a pretty solid year, in my opinion. I saw the first one. I didn't see the second one. I'm not too sure. What tribe was introduced in the second movie?
Oh, the Way of the Water, Avatar, the Way of the Water. Yeah, that was actually, so I think you kind of, I think it's wrong. So the in Avatar 2, The Way of the Water, very beautiful, right? They actually introduced the water people, which I love the movie. It actually almost made me cry at points in times, right? So that just kind of gives you an idea as to like what to kind of expect. Definitely bring napkins, tissues, the stuff to kind of help you through the movie. Because I just didn't expect it to be as good as it was for The Way of Water, but I think for Avatar 3, at least what was kind of I don't know if it was like spoiled or whatever, but I want to say it was like originally supposed to be like fire people, but that wouldn't make sense. It's supposed to be like a different. It's definitely a different type of like a Earth. I think it's Earth, actually, but that also wouldn't make sense because the main guy, he's supposed to be Earth, if I remember correctly, or maybe there's plant and then there's Earth. Because I know some aspects of elements they'll do that. They'll incorporate plant species and then of course Earth species. So this may be like an Earth race, if I remember correctly.
And I'm assuming this is the first movie, right?
Oh no! So the first one should either be like Earth or plant, which would mean the third should be like it's either one of those two. And that's I don't know if it's speculation at this point, if that's something that was actually pushed out. But yeah, from what I recall, it's either or, one of those two.
Because from my readings, I remember seeing that it was supposed to be the Ash tribe. But I'm pretty sure that's another way of saying fire. So
fire,
yeah.
right? Yeah. I think that was supposed to be something that like fan made. I don't exactly remember that being something they made known to the public as an official thing. But yeah.
Nice. I'm looking forward to that. I gotta watch the second one to catch up.
When you said Avatar, I was thinking like the new Avatar.
Yeah, I apologize. I didn't say the full title. Yeah, that's my fault. Yeah.
No, like I mean, when I say new Avatar, I mean like
because there is a live action coming out with the Avatar. I'm pretty sure we're gonna get into that.
Not that. I'm referring to like Avatar Aang, Avatar Korra, Avatar. Which there's going to be a new Avatar.
That is what I'm talking about, though. They are coming out with the live action Avatar.
Are they? Oh,
yeah. I think I wrote that down as one of the segments.
I think you're right on that, but from what I recall, for that one, they were actually they're doing like a remake or something. Because I know they did one back in like 2010, if I remember correctly. And the one that's supposed to be coming out, it looks the exact same. Like I can't really tell a difference. Which, I'm not completely excited for that one. For what I saw, if you have news on that,
From my understanding, isn't that one taking place in a slightly more futuristic dystopian setting?
The new Avatar, the one they're making an actual series about, yes. That's supposed to be one that's going to be like in a more dystopian setting. A lot of people, there's been a lot of speculation around that specifically because for that, it just doesn't. It's kind of weird. Since Avatar Korra, the gates have kind of been opened up to the public. So now you have the spirit world, and then the actual world sort of just kind of, you've got spirits flying all over the place,
Right, colliding
because of what Korra did, and that kind of puts sort of presents an issue with our current protagonist, which should be set in the year either late 2024 or 2025. As of now, it is 2025.
Interesting.
Gotcha. Sounds interesting.
I'm still excited for it's Avatar. Anything Avatar, I love it. I loved Avatar, and as a young airbender, loved Avatar Korra. A lot of people didn't like Korra. I don't know if it's there were people that didn't like Avatar Korra because she's a woman, but these are teenagers, guys.
Yeah. You grow out of that mindset, honestly. But I just never finished Legend of Korra. I remember enjoying it though. I just, it's one of those things you just watch, and all of a sudden you just stop watching for whatever reason. Life just happens. But
it's a really good series. Like if you like any of the popular anime nowadays, you'll definitely go. If you go back and just watch Avatar Korra, you'll definitely grow an appreciation for what they've done for the series. 100%.
Yeah, I agree. I watched the series too myself, and The Legend of Korra was really good. So definitely, like, if you haven't finished it or if you haven't watched it yet, definitely give that a check out.
Nice. So moving on. Next up, we have on our segment Vinland Saga Season 3.
Yeah.
So this has been confirmed, but actually, it hasn't been confirmed, but it's speculated to drop in 2025. But I'm pretty sure with the success of Season 1 and Season 2, like they're more than likely going to have a Season 3. So yeah, look forward to that. I'm looking forward to that.
That's gonna be one of my favorite ones right there, Vinland Saga. Man, it was so impactful for the year of 2025. If it's not Attack on Titans, Vinland Saga absolutely needs it. As a seinen, it's not. It really, I think, kind of puts shonen manga, especially like Shonen Jump, in check, because I think it makes people realize exactly what anime is and what it isn't, right? How and how impactful it can be from all levels, and kind of create transparency and nuance within certain pieces of fiction, to sort of present, open that door to us. But yeah, 100% Vinland Saga. I love the story. I think we talked about that a little bit last week, so I just want to throw that out there.
Oh yeah, it's one of those stories that proves action isn't everything, and it's just from the small details, from the emotion, from the voice actors to just the story itself. It's a great story. Definitely recommend checking it out. You guys haven't? There's 2 seasons out. So moving on. Next up, we have Heavenly Delusion Season 2. This is expected to be released late 2025 or early 2026. So I'm not too sure what's going to happen in this season. I haven't read the manga, but do you guys read the manga, or are you guys caught up with anything?
Heavenly Delusion is an absolute must watch. 100% absolute must watch. If you love anime, it's a little weird, especially if you like weird anime, sci-fi, like myself. You like a lot of people are kind of concerned about like Promised Neverland. This is Promised Neverland if it were done. I don't want to say if it were done right, but a lot of people believe that, which in my opinion, I like to see things from their own, from as their own, right? I don't like to compare and contrast, right? As its own series, fantastic anime. Definitely watch it. If you're a little on the sensitive side and you just love to watch slice of life anime, you can't really bear brutality, sexual violence, stuff like that, you may not want to watch it. But it's a short anime. It's only 1 season at the moment, and they'll probably have more. Well, they definitely will have more seasons. But definitely check it out, like 100%. That's a must watch.
I believe it is one of those animes that's based on Hulu. So if you need a location to watch it, Hulu is the place to go. So yeah, there's that.
Yeah, I've heard that it has parallels from Promised Neverland from friends that watched it as well. but I also heard them say that it has a really dark tone. Would you say that's true?
No,
Oh, yeah.
100%. It's a very dark tone. It's almost like I said, it's definitely got some violence in it. It can be very confusing if you don't pay attention, but the way they explain it is very well, and the overall idea. uh, Personally, my recommendation is when you go into something new, and I prefer to do this myself. I don't watch videos like review videos or anything. I go into something, I will watch it, and if it's short enough, I'll rewatch it. I strongly encourage everyone to do that, especially if you're here watching us on the Sing Zone podcast. Their hosts Zone FanFic, Sai Sensei, and Breezy. Definitely, definitely. I'm pretty sure they would say the same. Check it out. I'm the type of guy to watch, Platinum in and like it. So to give you some sort of perspective as to like future videos and what we may possibly be doing as far as that side of YouTube goes for us, um, and to kind of give you some insight as to like how we would sort of view this, it has it's nuance. It's just not black and white. A lot of people try to come at things from a black and white perspective, scale things. You can't do this with that anime. And if that's what you enjoy, if that's fun to you, that's cool. But then if you're the type of person to watch something more refreshing, um, not saying that violence is going to be refreshing, but it'll definitely be a nice change of pace, so that you can actually get an idea as to what range certain creators can actually utilize within writing, especially within a small margin of time. So check it out.
Sweet. They double down on that as well.
What we got next? What's next?
Next up, we have Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, the leaks, Chapter 6 leaks. So I believe it was just a panel dropped on the Shonen Jump or Viz Media, or no, not the Shonen, the Naruto official website. I apologize. Yeah, the Naruto official website. And this is something that's actually new that they've been doing. I think they first did it in Chapter 5 where they released a panel from within the chapter. So clearly they want us to know what's happening. And we see a leak panel of Mitsuki confronting Boruto, where he is meeting up with Sumire and Sarda, and we can see he's clearly very, very enraged. So we already know what's happening. So this was kind of, I saw this coming, being that Mitsuki was only dropped and mentioned for a couple of panels and was not given any type of action. And he's one of the core members of Team 7. So it was only a matter of time before we actually got to see him, and lo and behold, we have him right now. So I expect this to be a very exciting chapter, action-packed, hopefully. But it could be the case that this might be the only panel, and something else crazy might happen, and this whole fight might get diffused, and something else might happen. But who knows? But very, very, very excited for that. So I believe the chapter releases in a couple of days, or a few days actually, on the 18th or 19th. So it comes out early, a couple of days early this month. So
it should be soon, and we may be reacting to that. So definitely tune in if you see this video and you get here and you realize that we're going live. Hop in the live stream or join us. We may be reacting to it live on the Discord. So definitely check that out. I feel like I predicted the panel. I'm not really one to buy into the whole idea that the Boruto, creators, the publishers are actually pushing out, leaking these manga pages themselves. I feel like that's more of a conspiracy that fans like to tell themselves, so that kind of create that amount of hype. But that shouldn't take away from the idea that the series is actually sort of interesting at points in times. So do yourself if viewers out there, if you travelers out there, do yourselves a favor and just have an appreciation for anime and manga.
Yeah, it should be an interesting chapter. I think Boruto versus Mitsuki has been foreshadowed for a while. It was foreshadowed a little earlier in the manga when he first went Sage Mode before Boruto left the village after the Omnipotent switch. And it was also foreshadowed in the anime as well during the Chunin exams when they were about to fight, and we didn't actually get to see the fight. So yeah, it's going to be full of drama, and it should be interesting. Hopefully it's not diffused though before anything goes down, because it's been teased for a minute.
Absolutely, absolutely. I agree. Yeah, it's there's so much things that we have predicted, just us alone. You know, me, Breezy, Sai Sensei, the things that we have said on this, you don't find it on any other platform. So, you know, definitely, uh, if you like our theories, hey, you know what to do. Or if you want to see us kind of talk about something, you know what to do. I, Sai, are you? I know you got to go, man. Pretty soon. Um, how much longer do you have for this particular one? Um, because I don't want to hold you too long. We could possibly do like a, you know, another type of video, and then me and Breezy kind of just do this one. Um,
I was supposed to leave at 5, so I kind of pushed it already. I mean, not 5, at 8, so I kind of pushed it for 5 minutes right now. So yeah,
okay.
and like I said, this weekend and next weekend are going to be the only 2 weekends that I have with this time crunch. And when I get back home, I should be back into a normal schedule.
All good, man. All good. Hey, do what you gotta do, man. Just pop out. Hit us on Discord. You know where we're at.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
but for the rest of the categories, I forget where we left off. Um, yeah. Shoot. Let me see. Let me see where we left off. Haven't that Boruto Blade? Yeah. So for there's actually okay. So this has been one I've been excited for the longest. Blade. There's a Blade anime coming out. It's been teased. It's been like hinted and teased. I think last month it was actually teased. Yeah, there's been like a Blade Runner anime. I think it's I forget exactly which studio it's supposed to be by. Um, let me look into that. Let me see. Let me check right now. Blade. Okay, so I don't exactly know if it'll have Blade in it because there is a Blade anime already, right? But it's gonna be a new. I don't know if they're gonna be readapting the Blade anime. I don't think so. I think they're creating a completely different storyline of Blade, um, or at least a continuation of the series. So, hey, that's been one I'm excited. I've been excited for a while. Something more coming from the Blade franchise. I know they're creating a Blade movie, a new Blade movie, which is phenomenal. You know, I could I could jump off a bridge with that, just that alone. Something crazy. But I don't know. What do you are you're familiar with Blade, right? You guys familiar with Blade, right?
Yeah, I'm familiar with Blade. I really like Blade as a character, and I would say the same. I'm looking forward to the anime coming out. I'm not sure what part it's adapting, if it's doing like its own thing or if it's going off of previous material. But it's something I'm definitely looking forward to. There's been a lot of content coming out for Blade lately in general. There's even I think Microsoft announced at the Game Awards there's a Blade video game coming out pretty soon as well. So
I heard about
there's a
that
lot of Blade stuff.
That's
within
crazy.
Activision. I believe Activision aren't they the ones who make all the Marvel games? Or
Yeah, yeah,
okay, yeah,
yeah. So it should
Activision.
be.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it should be. It's looking good for Blade. Like Blade is cooking right now.
Yo, I'm so excited for that Blade anime. I mean, I feel like that's gonna be like something that we maybe covering on the platform. I've always been I've seen myself as Blade in parts of my life. You know, I'm really like Blade and me, we're the same person, right? So I'm really gonna get my sword right now, you know. But I won't do all that right now. But as far as as far as Blade goes, Blade's definitely. I'm excited for that. I think I want to say the end of 2024 is when it's supposed to be coming out. Um, more news for that to come, so look forward to that. But next up, we have Arcane season 2. I've officially finished season 1. Absolutely loved it. Right. Um, season 2 is going to be coming out in November of 2024, if I remember correctly. And personally, I don't know what to expect now. But as far as season 1 goes, I liked essentially everything. Right, the plot was nice. The writing was very, very nice. The time skip is the only thing I didn't really feel like it was as fluid as it could have been. The change in character, it was interesting, but I don't exactly like how they didn't incorporate enough Easter eggs for me to believe that not Vi, but the other character, what's her name, Pooh, Powder, right, Jinx. She basically she's like she has like split personality. For those of you that don't know, she's essentially, she's got schizophrenia, bipolar. She's got a bunch of issues, right? And she's been. I don't want to give you guys the entire premise, right? I spoiled a little bit, but I don't want to. I want you guys to actually check it out. That we'll leave you guys with that. Fantastic. But there were some issues. We may be making a separate video on that, on like things that I didn't like and things that I did like when it pertains to writing in the series. But from a cinematic perspective, it was very well executed. I like the touch between 2D and 3D animation that they incorporated, or 2D images and 2D animation that they incorporated. Sorry. Yeah, 3D images and 2D animation that they incorporated. Very nice. But as far as what we have next, solo leveling. Yo, oh my gosh, right? Solo leveling is something we've been looking forward to for a while. I don't know. Is my voice still like this? I don't.
Yeah, your voice is good.
It's good. Okay, solo leveling essentially season has been something that I've been. As soon as I found out that the anime was actually airing, I was kind of excited, right? And I didn't think it'd be animated by I think A1 Pictures. A1 is definitely animating it, right? So as far as the production goes, it's in good hands, like Allstate, right? But as far as episode 1 and 2, I like the pacing. I like the art style. I like what they're doing with it. I think that it's in good hands. And I feel like this is in a good direction. I feel like it's going to do just as good as a series like God of High School. But I don't think it'll do any better than that. Personally, Korean manga tend to you've got larger YouTubers that seem to be covering it more and putting it more in the pop culture type of view. But personally, as far as a and it may get a lot of traction, but I don't think it'll stick around for the most part. As far as like how it'll affect anime in general, it's very good. I will give them that, and it's going to do. We may be covering that as much as well. Personally, I like the story. I'm just probably I'm not the type of person to like, or to really, I don't want to say like, but care too much about like, characters that just, have infinite potential, right? Like Super Saiyans, right? It's all cool and all, and especially if you're new to anime, but in the grand scheme of things, it's about the writing of the character. If they do expand upon like some of the characters in the anime, that's going to be something I'm going to love. And if I see that, we'll cover it. We'll cover it more so. Sorry. Episode 2, even better than episode 1. And like I said, I loved the pacing for it. How'd you guys feel about it?
Yeah, I feel the same way you feel. I like the pacing, and I think it's going in a good direction. For somebody that likes an anime that has a lot of action, I would say Solo Leveling would probably be in your lane.
I wanted to ask, A1 Pictures, or is it A1 Studios or Pictures, or what is it? Or Productions? The studio responsible for making Solo Leveling. Am I saying the name right?
I think it's A1 Production, right? Yeah. I know it's published by DMC.
But either way, I just wanted to ask, what
It's A1
other
Pictures.
animes were they responsible for?
I'm sorry, I got sidetracked. Yeah, it's A1 Pictures.
Okay, cool. Okay, I thought so. Yeah, what other animes are they responsible for creating?
Oh my gosh, so much.
Or not, just a popular one.
Popular anime.
They make Persona, like the Persona series, and I know that's pretty popular.
Oh man, I actually have never heard of that.
Yeah, so
Really?
they made
Yeah, there's like a whole line of games for it too.
they've literally like they've helped produce Sword Art Online, Erased, right? Persona, Exorcist, right? Fairy Tale, right? These are all fantastic anime. What was the other one that we said?
It was just Persona, but you said it already.
Persona. Yeah, they've worked a lot with Sword Art Online, especially.
Oh, they make Black Butler too, which is something I've been wanting to watch, but I haven't gotten around to watching it yet. But I heard that's excellent.
Yeah, I've heard good things about that as well.
I actually, that is one of the ones that I haven't watched in a while, and I think they they readapted it, and I haven't watched that one, but I hear it's really good. They've literally A1 Pictures literally touched most of the anime we love, like Fairy Tale, Seven Deadly Sins, Magi, right?
Oh man, Seven Deadly Sins was great. Yeah, I'm assuming they did the first 2 seasons, right? Not the season 3, because season 3 of Seven Deadly Sins was it kind of ruined the season. The series, in my opinion. Not the series, but like it just went downhill. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the picture when they have the horse and like it's like really thoroughly drawn out, like for the first 3 seasons, and then you have season 4, season 5, and it's just like a doodle stick figure of a horse. That's kind of pretty much.
You might have to link that or send a picture of that in the Discord.
I got you. I'll do that. But I want to say this to finalize on Solo Leveling. I did see the first 2 episodes, and I definitely thought it's going to be a banger. It looks pretty solid. I like it kind of gave me Chainsaw Man vibes with how especially how this episode 2 ended. Mm-hmm. So I'm very curious to see what's to happen next. But yeah, I gotta go right now. So I'll see you guys in the next spot, man.
Yo, peace.
Alrighty.
Appreciate you coming.
See ya.
Peace.
Yeah, Fate Apocalypta, Apocrypha. Sorry. Yo, A1 Pictures. Yo, MASH. Sorry, maybe. Hold on. Did they touch all of this? I don't think so. Yeah, man. A1 Pictures is what it is, where it's at, man. They're doing their thing. But it's typically, if you like that type of animation and art style, they're probably they might be adapting the anime you enjoy the most. It's just kind of something to kind of lean on maybe a little bit. Now, next up we have Versus, created by One. I am not up to date with this one, but I will tell you from what I've read so far, this is a fantastic manga so far. It's something that I'm not going to spoil for you today, but we will be talking about it in detail on our next video. So look forward to that very soon. Did you have anything to say about Versus?
I'm not familiar with Versus either, like you were saying, but I've only heard good things about it.
Hmm.
So if it's something that you'd be curious about checking out, I definitely recommend at least give it a look. It's by the author one or the
Yeah,
mangaka.
yeah. So one or Tomohiro, however you want to call them, but whatever you want to call them. But if you love good art, not talking about the art you see from the big three of Shonen Jump, right? I'm talking about good art, not subpar, overhyped, art. Talking about solid quality art, right? Rendered by the gods, right? Talking about that one. Uh, those, right? To be more precise. Um, Versus. That's where it's at. Check it out. Next up, we got One Piece, the egghead arc, right? I'm not caught up here. I will tell you guys that in full transparency. Um, but it's gonna be adapted this year. So look forward to that. Because by the time it's adapted, I want to say they're already in the egghead arc, right?
Yes, I believe so. I think it'll be the conclusion of the Egghead art that's being adapted.
Correction. Yes. Thank you for specifying that. Yeah. So, um, definitely look forward to that. Um, yeah. Next up, we have Kaiju number 8. Now this year, I'm always going to be the lover for Kaiju. I love this should be a Kaiju channel, but that's not what we're going to brand it as, right? But we will Kaiju number 8 as fantastic, especially as a shonen, right? This is going to be revolutionary for the shonen world. And if it involves we talked about it a little last week, but the anime, it is 2024. Check it out. When it is adapted, it's not adapted yet, but it will be very soon. Um, check it out. Let me see. Oh, that looks fantastic. Sorry about that. Let me send you something in Discord that I just seen.
All
Uh
right.
sorry. Guys. This is way more important than this video, guys. Let me send this, this to you guys. I'll send this to you real quick. Um beep beep beep. Oh, here we go. All right, send that to you now. All right, yeah. So just tell me if it's cool or good or bad. You just type it in there or whatever. But yeah,
Uh, yeah,
next up,
that is
you like it?
yes.
Next up, we have
Yeah, it would be Metallic Rouge season 1. So yeah, Metallic Rouge just premiered a couple days ago.
I think it's pronounced
It
Rogue, actually.
Say that again.
I think it's pronounced Rogue.
Rogue. Okay. So
Yeah.
Metallic Rogue. It just premiered a couple days ago. I hear it's an anime about an android girl named Rogue Red Star and her friend, and they're supposed to be going on a mission to Mars. Um, to deal with these 9 androids that are apparently rebelling against their government. It kind of gives me, from what I've seen, like Ghost in the Shell kind of vibes. But at the same time, the characters have like they transform like mid battle into like these combat forms that they go into before they begin to fight. So it looks pretty interesting. It should be coming. Yeah, it should be pretty good.
Yeah, I have high hopes for this one. I saw just the trailer alone. The trailer was fantastic. If you haven't seen the trailer yet, and go back and watch the Kaiju trailer too. Um, these just the animation alone. I really love the manga for kaiju, and we're doing more reaction videos as these come out. So look forward to that. Subscribe to the Zone FanFic channel if you want to see reaction videos. And yeah, Metallic Rogue though. Metallic Rogue is something that I think is going to change how we kind of perceive anime, depending on how it's handled. Right now, the trailer may not seem like all that, but if you just go into the world, it's going to be very interesting how the public actually perceives anime. Just watch out the Twitter bots kind of start tripping up the algorithm. You'll see. You guys will see what we're talking about. If you guys aren't already um, familiar with Metallic Rogue, we'll be covering it a lot more when it pertains to the channel. When it pertains to the Sync Zone podcast. Yeah, yeah. I know I'm being very vague, but I guarantee you, sooner or later, you guys will understand. Definitely sooner, you guys will understand why specifically we're saying we're not really saying as much at the moment. When it pertains to Metallic Rogue season 1, but before things get cooking, we'll get cooking. So look forward to that.
Yeah. Next up, there's Kagurabachi. Kagurabachi has been on a strike lately. Like, it's recently getting up to like 6 million views on Manga Plus alone, and it's already up to 16 chapters. If you haven't checked it out, definitely do. Chapter 17, for those of you who are caught up, is going to be released on January 22nd, so pretty soon. If you're not familiar about it, it's a Shueisha manga. It follows the revenge story of the protagonist is the son of a blacksmith, and his father he created these 6 enchanted blades, and he trained the main character up before he was murdered by these sorcerers. But before he died, he made a 7th blade, who was taken up by the son, and he's going on this quest to avenge his father. It's really action packed. Like, the first chapter starts out immediately with action. So if you guys like that type of thing, I would definitely recommend checking it out. It's been pretty well received.
Kagurabachi is definitely. I said it when it first came out, when it was said it last week, or when we did the last pod. And I'll say it again. There's a lot of potential when it pertains to the series. It's a lot of people from Shonen Jump's Big Three have. You can always tell when fans, they see potential, but they don't actually want to suggest that it has potential. But if you pay attention to like Twitter shorts for YouTube and Twitch, or whether that's TikTok, you can see that a lot of people, they actually really think that there's a lot of potential behind it. You look at the art style, phenomenal, right? You look at
Oh
the
man, the paneling is so good for Kagurabachi.
paneling alone, the how they set it up, the writing in episode 1, the build up. Of course, they've got your typical shonen cringy notes or cringy lines in it, right? But when it pertains to this author's inspiration, much like JJK, Chainsaw Man, there's a lot of Bleach and One Piece inspiration. I'd say it's almost about equal when it pertains to those. And from an inspiration standpoint, those are fairly new to this decade of the big 3 of shonen. They're still fairly new to this decade's um, development of anime, at least when it pertains to shonen pop anime. pop culture shonen anime from like Shonen Jump, right? Whether that's Hunter, which was extremely impactful even to Bleach, right? You know, Yoshihiro Tagashi has basically Dragon Ball gets a lot of credit, but basically if you just look at the who's influenced the most, it's definitely been Bleach on this perspective. And I hate to get back to the whole um you know not saying that anything is better than another, but there's definitely a lot of um that is a positive. If anything, it's not a bad thing. Now, when it pertains to the series, as from um, a narrative perspective, there's definitely a lot of positive setup, motivations that are there um, for our main protagonist, right? And the world, it doesn't have a lot of from what we've seen so far, it doesn't have a lot of boundaries. As far as they haven't set up boundaries. It's within a city at the moment, but we don't exactly know how far you know this could potentially go. Which
Yeah,
they kind of open the doors from what I've seen. What
I
is
agree with you. Like the approach that's been taken to Kagurabashi, it kind of just puts you into the door in the beginning, and it seems like a lot of stuff is supposed to be fleshed out later. Like we know there's sorcery in the anime, but we don't really know anything like as far as how the power system of sorcery works yet. So things like that, it puts you right into it, but it leaves a lot of potential and it leaves a lot of boundaries open for things to be fleshed out later.
Yeah, a lot of people were like, oh, it's got sorcery. It's like JJK. Oh, it's got
Right.
swords. It's like One Piece. Oh, it's got swords. It's like Bleach. But if you look at it like its own, right, like its own series, you can actually kind of have more of a your own opinion about how it stands on its own, right? Now, what attracted me to JJK initially, right, was sorcery, right? And what you can actually do with sorcery. Now they took the typical shonen route, and you've got people with sorcery and curse magic, and you've got people with no curse technique, and you got people with no curse technique, right? Um, and it adds an interesting aspect to the actual writing, but um with you've got of course sorcerers, right, who are capable of this curse technique. This is JJK. Now with Kagurabachi, right, you've got different gangs, right? They kind of added that in there. Now I like to be the one I will, of course, be talking more in depth with this series as it actually grows, and of course, we'll be doing more reactions for those series, and we'll probably do them in bulk since there's not that many chapters yet of Kagurabachi. Um, so yeah, if you guys is something that you guys want to see, type it in the comment section. Let us know. Let us know down below. Join the Discord, all social media. Like the video, share it. Um, Yeah, I just felt like
Mhm.
I had to say that. Get that
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, moving on, from Kagurabachi, we have One Punch Man season three. So One Punch Man is
Uh,
finally getting its season three, which should come out the summer of this year. We don't know the exact date yet, but we do know it will be coming out in the summer, hopefully. Um, if you don't know, the animation studio for One Punch Man has been changed around a lot. So it's going from Madhouse originally, then it went to JC Staff, and now who adapted season two? Madhouse did season one, and now Mappa will be doing season three, which is going to be, I think that's going to be pretty interesting.
I
It's
confirm,
going to cover
confirm that.
what's that?
That's confirmed. That is confirmed. But Mappa's been
Yeah,
having issues, right?
yeah, yeah. Mappa, yeah, with their employees. So that's definitely going to be interesting. I know season 3, from what I hear, is supposed to cover the clash between the hero and the monster association. If you're caught up with the manga,
Mhm.
um, I'm not up to that part on One Punch Man yet. But a lot of people have been anticipating the adaptation. I know people weren't happy with the quality of season 2 that was done by JC compared to how it opened with season 1 done by Madhouse. And now it's over to Mappa now, and we know like Mappa's been having their issues. So we'll see how that pans out.
I will tell you that things like that, they're very minuscule on my list because, like I said, I care about the writing, but I also like, the writing. It's like 99% of what people actually see and perceive, right? Because for an anime to make sense, it has to be consistent, and to be consistent, it has to have quality writing, right? At least when it pertains to the limitations that the author creators actually decide for that series. That is like 99% of what you actually need, even in an anime. Good writing, typically in all anime, whether that's your most popular like Naruto, One Piece, or Bleach, right? You have the anime adapting, expanding on the written material, whether that's the light novel or the manga itself, right? That's extremely important that a production is able to kind of expand upon each of the panels and if it were just if it were just manga panels, you might as well just watch the manga or read the manga, sorry, because and just appreciate that. um like ufotable level graphics aren't necessary for every anime. um Although if ufotable did take One Punch Man, there wouldn't be a better anime today. I couldn't say there would be. Um, especially with animes like Fate. Um, Speaking of Fate, with Type Zero, I think they're making a new. It's gonna be like a same storyline, but same story, different storyline. Um, so they'll have some of the same characters, but it won't be. That's something completely else. That's Fate, right? But
Right.
One Punch Man, oh my gosh, I loved season 1. Thought it was fantastic. Season 2, thought it was fantastic. And as far as the animation quality goes, I didn't really see that much of a difference. It wasn't like apparent, right? Especially when it's all blended into, what you love most about the art style, of the characters, it's not meant to. I don't exactly know if it's meant to be a long-term anime, but that's not why people watch it. At least I'll tell you why I watch it. Some of the reasons why I watch it is because it's absolutely hilarious.
Yes, I agree.
And you got characters like Saitama
Yes.
on the battlefield that can essentially wipe out most people in anime today. Competing with people like um, you know, uh, people from all pieces of fiction like Superman, Goku, right? People that
Uh-oh.
are to the strongest of people, right? You've had death battles off of these people. And it's because it's legit. Now I made a video last time. Actually made a video on whether or not Saitama was an Esper. Now, if you're familiar with Espers, the direction I'm going. There are Espers within Mob Psycho 100. Um, so there is some type of connection there. There's been some crossover with uh, Yusuke Murata, um, trying to basically, incorporating each character within the series. Whether that's, Mob within One Punch Man or One Punch Saitama within um, Mob Psycho. that's what I love when the author can actually have fun. There's not just serious all the time, and that actually you can actually tell that they're actually enjoying the series because, it's fun. It's fun. It's fun when you can actually tell that the author enjoys making moments and creating moments. Like there was a moment in the manga where I forget her name, the tornado girl, Takumaki.
Yeah, Takamaki. You're
Yeah,
right.
she basically there's a moment with Takamaki and Saitama. I won't spoil exactly what it is, but it's a moment with them in the manga, and it's absolutely hilarious. You should check it out for this specific reason. There are videos on it. I strongly advise against going to reviewers and checking it out. But you've heard my opinion here. We'll be doing watch parties in the Discord, so definitely check that out. Um, yeah, season 3 is going to be fantastic. I have no doubt in my mind it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, I'm not too concerned about like, I'm just talking about like just what I've been hearing in general. But me myself, like, I'm not too concerned with how it's going to be adapted. As long as I just know it's going to be adapted, I'm looking forward to it. And like you said, I really like just the comical style of One Punch Man. Like, you can really tell that the creators are having a lot of fun with it.
Mm.
So it's just enjoyable to watch, man.
Saying I'm saying, man, it's gonna be great. Also next we have what else do we have? What do we have
We
next?
have the Rising of Shield Hero. So it just recently completed its season 3. Um if you're not familiar with Rising of Shield Hero, it's a fantasy anime about a young man who is summoned from his universe to fight waves of monsters from other worlds with 3 other chosen heroes. And from my understanding, they're from different dimensions. This isn't one that I've watched myself. I don't know. Are you familiar with this one?
Yeah. So, Rise of the Shield Hero is fantastic. It's an isekai, um, and when I say isekai, this is one that you want to watch, right? There, of course, just like every other anime, there's going to be anime that has a stigma of isekai on it, but this is definitely one where I think I've forgotten that it was an isekai, but essentially what happens, just to kind of give you a little tidbit of one Rise of the Shield Hero. It's a guy whose main weapon is a shield. Now that sounds boring and all, but you should watch it. It's amazing, right? So this guy acquires a party, and of course, along the way, the stories and the backgrounds of this party and how he kind of is able um to kind of be the person he is today in season 3. It's phenomenal. um and it does have a similar premise from a isekai perspective, um but from like a purely on its own, it does a very well job of executing emotion, um narrative reasoning, and of course, just like the powers, right? It's not too often where you give a character a defensive weapon and they can make the best out of it. It's kind of something that you don't encounter every day. You should
Would
check it.
you say that like that aspect of it is something that makes it stand out among other isekai?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. That is something that drew me to it. I was like, Shield Hero. No, that's something that should draw everyone to it, right? Just because something is flashy doesn't mean it's good. You
Right.
got beautiful things out there. Um, and of course, you never judge a book by its cover. that's something I learned early on in life. But I'm so glad I did, because I've had probably learned some life lessons just from, and I'm on the older crowd, right? So, if I could learn some life lessons from it, so can anyone else. I'm all about learning, right? Um, what do we have next? Did we talk about the
Yeah.
Dota trailer?
No, we did not talk about the Don to Don trailer. I actually watched the trailer and I thought it was really interesting. Like I liked the art style that they were going for. It had sort of an old feel, but at the same time, I really liked the color palette and just like the overall vibe of like what they were going for. Um, I know like what the basic plot kind of is of Don to Don. I know they're dealing with I know it's about like these two friends and they kind of get together under these circumstances. Like one doesn't believe that aliens exist. One doesn't believe that ghosts exist. But of course, we find out like in the series that both aliens and ghosts do exist, and they go on a sort of a journey together. But the trailer, it looked really good and interesting. The I would say like the ending of the trailer was interesting to say the least. It should be coming out this year as well. It comes out October 2024. We don't have like the exact date, but it should be dropping around that time.
That last part again?
Did you hear me? Did I cut out?
I think you cut out for me that last part.
Okay. What's the last piece that you heard? Are you there?
You're talking about some of the animation.
Okay, yeah. I was saying that the animation, it was very interesting. It had a really nice I like how it had an old style, but at the same time it had really bright colors. It had like a sort of old school vibe to it. I think it should go like really well with the plot. How it has like this it should give like this feeling of immersion, how we're dealing with aliens and ghosts, because we have the two main characters. One didn't believe that ghosts exist, but one didn't believe that aliens exist, but of course we learn throughout the series that they do, which will come to a surprise as our two main characters. And yeah, the trailer was really good. It makes me want to watch the series. I know it comes out October 2024. We don't have the exact date, but it should be dropping around that time. And I'm just looking forward to just seeing what they end up doing with it.
No, yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's it's got a lot of attention around it, and I think that as far as how we'll be covering it, that'll be very interesting, because personally, I'm not one to flock to the trendy aspect of things. But I do think that, like Kagurabachi, Dandadan has had potential. And it may very well change the game for anime. Right now you've got sort of anime a lot like JJK and Chainsaw Man, which to me, in all honesty, I'm gonna give a very bad hot take here.
Uh-oh.
When it
All
comes
right, drop it.
to JJK and Chainsaw Man, I look at them the exact same. Like there's nothing um that, if you put like 50 to, we'll say 100 to 150 anime in front of me, and I saw JJK and Chainsaw Man side by side, I wouldn't look at them any differently. I'd look at them as like, okay, we'll put them in one category, and then I'm gonna put everything else in different categories, if that makes sense, right? Um,
Right.
like there's nothing that really draws my attention from them other than, the animation. And um the animation isn't even all that to me. It's not anything revolutionizing, um a revolutionary, right? It's not anything that I think is going to be that is truly impactful for anime in general, right? I think that it's cool that they found a way to make it um have stand out on its own, but there's so much more anime out there that doesn't need animation to stand out on its own. That doesn't need animation to gain a mass following. It just needs good writing, and that's all you should ever need. For Danadon, I think it has a bit of all those characteristics that I was talking about. Sure, it may be cliche at times, but as far as its art style, it's very unique, and that may be just what it needs on top of solid writing to put it above everything else. So, check it out.
Yeah, definitely. Like I'm interested in watching it, so if anybody would like to check it out, it's going to be coming out October 2024 for Dawn to Dawn.
Uh,
Next up on our list, we have Tower of God season 2 coming out.
Tower of
So
God.
yeah, so this one is supposed to be coming out in the summer of 2024. I heard around July. There was a trailer that we got for it, but it didn't reveal too much. It just gave us some glimpses from the manhwa, and it showed off some characters, the protag, some crucial figures that's going to make return for the second part. It's going to be adapting the second part of the anime. Um, if you're not familiar with Tower of God, it's pretty it's pretty popular thanks to its art style. It's got complex characters. It's got a nice narrative. Um, it's published, I believe, by Naver Webtoon. So definitely check it out. So far, season one ran for 13 episodes, and from what I've heard, it's been pretty good. I know Zone that you're pretty familiar with Tower of God. I just got into the manhwa myself,
Mm.
so and I haven't dived into the anime yet,
How far?
but
Manhwa.
I am on chapter 12, I think.
Okay, so episode 12. Okay. Well, that's
Yeah,
of season 1 or 2, because season chapter 12 I think runs into the anime, if I remember correctly.
yeah, I think that would still be season one. But it looks, from what I see, it looks pretty promising. So it's one that I'm looking forward to, especially now that I just started not too long ago the actual manhwa.
Yeah, no. So Tower of God, it puts I've talked about how great the series was for a while now. And I reviewed two Tower of God on the Zone FanFic channel. Now, as far as Tower of God, it is a slow burn. It will progress at points in times very rapid, very fast. And you will not expect it. It's like it becomes like a thriller and horror at points in times. And then it becomes very light. Like it transitions very well. Um, and so in my perspective, it's One Piece done right. It's not the same island, journey premise every single you gain a group, you gain a friend, you gain people, and then it ends in there's an end goal, right? It's not the same basic premise with it has entertaining unique characters, and it has a lot, right? It has very good unique art, and it doesn't necessarily always copy paste. There are specific races, there are specific families. This is kind of how you can kind of dive into that for those of you that are kind of unfamiliar with it. um expands on a lot, and for you that those of you that don't know, in season 2, we'll definitely be going into new waters here with character design change and also a plot change. Toward the end of season 1, there was something very bad, something very drastic that occurred, and it changed the course of the story. And even in the manga, we don't truly know who is good and who is bad, which I love. Um,
Yeah, I would say like trust and betrayal so far are like big themes in the greater narrative of Tower of God.
there is speculation. Let me at least say there is speculation behind who is good and bad. There are things that seem apparent, right? But there is little speculation out there, which I think is a head nod to from the author to us, suggesting there is something more in the universe, right? Which I think is beautiful writing, very well executed. You said season 2, what? I'm sorry.
Oh, oh no, I was just saying that I was just talking about, or going off of what you said when you were talking about what was going to happen with the characters. I was just saying for like anybody that was interested in watching it, trust and betrayal. I would look out as big themes in this series. Like I feel like it really keeps you on your toes. And then another thing with this one is it does a really good job of world building for sure compared to like other series.
100%. The just one of the levels of the tower, and there are hundreds. Just one of those. They're like the size of continents. So give you perspective. Right. What do we have next?
Let's see. What do we have next on our list? That would be Classroom of the Elites, but Sai is not here.
We jump down to news updates.
Yeah, so we finally have flying cars being tested out for FAA approval. Um, and I think that was done way back in July. So I don't know how that's going to work out, or I don't really see us having those like anytime soon. A flying car right now, at least like the first one that's been made is like $300,000. So
Yeah, people are willing to buy a Tesla. Willing to buy drones. The fact that flying cars have been FAA approved for testing trials, that's just as much. That's just as big as the Neuralink. Being approved and being tested, and the first trials being successful. If it's FAA approved, that's pretty huge news. That means in the next few years we maybe will see things in production. um just because typically these companies with especially a larger standing and in automotive and aerospace technology, they're able to kind of have more of a backing financially, and of course from a legality perspective as well. um
yeah, how long into the future do you foresee like that happening? I
well,
think like it will happen progressively with time, just like how we're doing like you gave I believe like Tesla as an example with like the electric cars, and we're kind of slowly transitioning into electric cars. So do you see like the same thing happening with flying cars as well, or
well
do you think that's going to be more?
I
Go
will.
ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I'm the one to cut you off. But as far as people actually, or sorry, us as Westerners and the world taking into effect, Saudi Arabia has made a lot of good advances. A lot of countries have made a lot of solid developments from a technological perspective, right? And just
Right.
states within the U.S. have made a lot of technological perspectives. Technological advances as well, and they plan to do so, which is why a lot of states like California and Texas, um, these big industry, big um, larger states have made developments and have tried to cut down on the cost of emissions so that air quality and aerospaces is a lot easier to manage now. They've even gone as far as to try to restrict a lot of gas vehicles, the price of gas in those states. There's almost a dozen states that I can probably list that have laws like this that are becoming um, a more strict, and I think it's because we're kind of facing a curve within society to where we're kind of having a change. Now, as far as flying cars, the company that's actually developing these for these, they plan on not mass production, but trying to put it into production similar to like the Cybertruck and Tesla's cars, trying to have those actually out there. Um, have the flying car out there by 2025 to 2026. Right now is something sort of that's close, but it's not that close. Could be pushed earlier. Personally, I foresee those things being pushed earlier. Now it's just because of how they're actually being tested. These are road cars with the ability to fly. Um, we at the moment we already have Iron Man suits, we have jetpacks, we have the Neuralink, all these different technologies that are allowed for testing. Um, they've been approved, and people can actually test. Universities can develop on those platforms, possibly open source it or find their own way. It's going to get leaked. The information is going to get leaked somehow, and people are going to find a way to make it more of a mass production, right? So yeah, I definitely see it being um, pushed out as far as to the public a lot sooner rather than later. Um,
Yeah, like I agree with you on that. I think it will be pretty soon. I just think, like you said, it won't be taking. It'll just be taking like the Tesla route, like you said, like how they do with the Cybertruck. Like it's not a mass produced thing right now because the technology is really expensive right now. So I definitely see them taking that route, and it's just really interesting to me, like how things are panning out and progressing lately with that. And I definitely see like in the future stuff like that, like the Cybertruck. Was it like almost, it's like between 80 to over $100,000 in some cases, but I think like in a couple years things like that will go down in price, and there'll be a lot more common like in the future as we adopt the technology. So I fully agree with you there. I seen like a thing too with like the Neuralink, where this guy, he got a transplant and he was completely paralyzed and he was able to walk like after getting a transplant, just like a little chip. Just that's crazy.
yeah, I think
So
around that there's because there's a lot of fear behind that as well. People are they've always speculated, having a chip in the brain, and of course now that there is one, they're like the Illuminati's here, right? But pertains to like the Neuralink, of course, anything that can be engineered can be reverse engineered. That's something that most engineers understand, most people in tech understand. Um, but of course, there is that has been approved, and so there is a lot of restrictions behind the source code, and also open sourcing it, right, and making that available outside of I want to say Open AI is the one in charge of that. No, it's Neuralink. Sorry. Um,
yeah, Neuralink, you're right.
own company. So yeah, there's Elon has definitely taken a route where he's making a lot of advances from a economical perspective, and he understands vision, which I respect. Uh, but as far as practicality, We'll see if he can dig tunnels underground, under the grounds, under LA. I'm pretty sure he could do much more when it pertains to just a Neuralink than we truly have given him credit for. And these trials have, they're public knowledge. You can go and search them right now, and you'll see that there have been successful trials for the Neuralink. Now, are they going to weaponize this and make toy soldiers? Hey, I feel like there's less of it's all a matter of perspective.
Yeah,
and it's
I wish.
that's probably like maybe 75% of the argument. The other is legality, and there's also quality assurance, right? Ensuring that this could be ethical and moral, right? And so that is something that, of course, there are regulations behind tech, nanotech, ectolife policy, which I made a video on, so check that out as well. And of course, we'll be diving more thoroughly into the mechanics and the technological perspectives behind that, from a tech perspective. So check that out when that arrives. Yeah, what else? Did we want to talk more on this topic, or?
Yeah, before we move on from this, you mentioned people having fears and concerns about it, and you kind of, I mean, you kind of touched on it a lot. I would say, like, do you yourself have any fears and concerns about it? And I can see like the ethical argument, like as well, with there being a problem with that. Especially if it's non-consensual, or yeah, consensual. Yeah, that's the right word. But yeah, I just wanted to ask you, do you see potential issues with it?
Do I see potential issues with it? Sure. Right. Not everything is black and white, so I'm going to expand upon this, right? So as far as there being risk, there are risks when it pertains to everything. Right. Now, when it pertains to the good that this can do, the good, in my perspective, outweighs the bad. Now, it is up to us as a society to ensure that these policies are put into place to make sure it is governed properly. Right. It is our perspective. It is our right and our responsibility as a people and as a society to actually put these, make sure if things aren't solidified and put into place, that they're actually mandated and they are acknowledged. That is our right, and it is our job to keep them accountable, right? For our lives and for our children's lives. So, with that being said, yeah, sure, there is risk, but with everything, there is risk. Um,
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think like consent and just accountability will play like a big role in that as well. But did we want to talk about King the Conqueror?
yeah, King the Conqueror, man. Jonathan Majors has broken his silence. He had an interview earlier this week, so if you haven't checked that out, check that out. There may be a link in the description down below this video, but you should know that I thought that I didn't really give a fuck, right? Uh, French, I thought it was worth a watch because I think he's a good actor. I think he has a lot of potential as an actor. Um, and I was excited for the King the Conqueror, his role. Honestly, from a fiction enthusiast like myself, yeah, I thought he was going to do very good things, and I'm sure everyone that supported him thought that as well. And as far as him being, a black male, apparently I'll be as transparent with you guys as I possibly can. The situation is that he was a black male. in dating a white woman, and there was some concern whether or not he was abusive toward this woman, or if this woman just kind of was trying to use him, and just wasn't mentally ready for the relationship. um Now I think in the trial, in the 8-month trial and the interview, there was a lot explained, and one thing that became apparent is that these individuals, they both weren't ready for this relationship from mentally ready for this relationship. Both were attacking it at two different perspectives, and they didn't really have it in them to attack it at equal footing, right? You had one, Jonathan Majors, who basically was trying to, you know, um, bring something out of something that wasn't there. So something out of nothing, and also fulfill his role and obligations as an actor. And you had one um, spouse, right? Or girlfriend. I don't exactly remember whether they were married or not, but it was pretty clear that they just didn't really see eye to eye, but they did seem to like each other. I don't exactly, I won't exactly dive into how much, because there was a lot that was um, a lot of information that we just don't see from the public eye. From a trial perspective, Jonathan Majors went into this on the complete defense, when that really shouldn't have been his argument, right? So he probably did that from a legality perspective, probably talked to his lawyer, and that his lawyer told him this was the best possible route to fulfill. And in a panic, he probably chose to go down this route because he wanted to continue his role, and he saw himself in this light, and he couldn't really think beyond that um, from his current standing. So yeah, it's definitely disappointing that he kind of is all got kind of, I guess, set back in a sense, but he's got like Megan Good, right? Doesn't he have Megan Good now?
Yes, he does.
Yeah, he's got Megan Good. So she's a solid actor. I'm sure she's supporting him. And hopefully he's able to bounce back. I'm sure he will. He just may not be able to work in Marvel, at least not yet. I don't exactly know how fluid they are, as far as I know. They were able to accept Robert Downey Jr., and he was, after years of drug use and jail time. So if they can do that, if Marvel could do that for Robert Downey Jr., they can do that for him, right? But of course, there's an image to present, so he's got to appeal to kids. So maybe give him a few years and try again. I have no idea how that's going to go, but we will talk about that more when we get more updates for one Jonathan Majors.
Yeah, that's a very unfortunate situation.
Very unfortunate. Yeah, I didn't really feel anything per se, because it was he didn't really have any roles that really impacted me personally. Um, but did he have a lot of does he have a lot of potential? Is he a good actor? Yeah, sure. Yeah, I give that to him. Um, yeah, 100%. Yeah, good. I mean, best of luck to him.
Yes, I fully agree.
But for
Um,
next up, we had so many things we were going to try to talk about today, and I personally, I'm running a little short on time. Um, but I think we'll probably continue with the rest. I think it might be beneficial if we do this maybe at a later time, and we could probably talk about it in the Discord if you're cool with that, Breezy.
yeah, I'm cool with that.
Okay, my bad. Yeah, it didn't really, this time we kind of got wrapped up, and a few things today, and but we're definitely going to try to incorporate the rest, or more. Sorry, more of what we planned on doing today. We'll have more material to cover, either maybe this weekend, I don't know, or maybe it'll be next weekend. So if you're interested in finding out more about our hours, it's typically every weekend, sometimes on a weekday, but not often because we do have very busy schedules. But if you like the video, subscribe. Anything else to say for you, Breezy?
No, just I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. If you enjoyed it, just like the video, and usually we'll be streaming on the weekends. And yeah, I just hope you enjoyed the stream and look forward to doing more.
Yo, appreciate you guys for you travelers out there for sticking by as long as you have. I know it's a little short this time around, and we didn't get to cover as much as we wanted to. Also, you had Sai Sensei kind of bounced out a little early, so gotta do what we gotta do at the end of the day. But we will be doing more videos on all the other channels. Stay tuned for that, and we will see you next time, travelers. Peace.
All right, peace.
In the quantum tapestry, stories transcend realities. From fiction's vibrant narratives to gaming's epic sagas, I weave the infinite possibilities into existence. Script the unscripted. I guess you could call me FanFic. We are Zone.
In traversing the nebulous expanse of anime's cryptic dimensions and navigating the labyrinthine epochs of gaming's evolution, I alone venture into the abstruse, where enigma and the singularity of quantum concepts converge in a cosmic odyssey. I guess you could call me Voyager, and we are Zone.
Within the quantum kaleidoscope, anime's exquisite artistry and immersive universes of gaming intertwine. I unveil the beauty and depth where imagination dances with reality's pixels. I guess you could call me Fantasy. We are
Zone.